All right, we're recording. We have sound. Great, lovely. So, welcome. This is Crucible Tarot. It's no longer Aluminum Tarot. There are reasons which I'll outline in an upcoming post, and yeah, just kind of clear that one up. Long story short, I want something a bit more representative of what I'm trying to achieve with this channel, and not just simply some new agey love and light nonsense. Whilst Aluminum Tarot does have some significance in it, I think it's more important that I focus on the name change, so that way I can give a little bit more meaning and weight behind the message that I'm trying to send to people. So yeah, plus there are too many people. Lumina Tarot, Illumina Tarot, there's Love and Light Tarot. There's a lot of love and lighty types. I think it's a bit, no offense, possibly a bit too effeminate for my liking specifically. And additionally to lovey-dovey, which I'm actually focusing more so on the shadow self. So that said, if you like what you see here and you do enjoy Crucible Tarot, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell so that you don't miss any updates from future postings, and support the channel as you see fit, and let's carry this thing going. Thanks so much to everyone who has subscribed. We've surpassed the 300 person mark. I'm going to keep going, trying to make sure I stay as consistent as possible, making sure that I'm not dumping 12 readings for a month and then leaving it at that. So we want to just try to at least keep the content as relevant and fresh as possible. So I'll try to just experiment and delve with some other different types of tarot card readings, which mundane astrology to me always appeals, but there can also be some conceptual ones that I can work with as well. So that said, we are going to move to Cancer. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of June 2026. We're going to focus not simply on what's taking place for the month of June 2026, but we're going to talk a little bit more about what the significance of the reading is for you. This is a when you need to hear it type reading. And furthermore, it's also a type of reading that gives a snapshot into how you are functioning and, dealing with life to date at this particular moment in time. So I'm going to be using several decks from several types of authors and illustrators. The first one we have is the beautiful Angelarium Tarot deck, the Oracle of Emanations, which is illustrated by Peter Moorbacher. And Eli Minaya, I guess that's her name, his or her name. One of my favorite decks, absolutely stunning artwork, and it deals a lot with the archangels and concepts in the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life especially. And then we have As I Was Born on a Monday, we have Moonology Oracle cards from Yasmin Boland, which is another favorite of mine. And it's really encompasses a lot of the different lunar cycles and what it implies for the individual as they proceed throughout the 28 days of their life. Finally, last but not least, we have the Warrior of Love Tarot, which is a new one made by Luna Marie. Luna Marie is actually a very interesting character. I was able to meet her when I took a trip to Watkins Books and stumbled upon her artwork, and additionally she was doing tarot readings for people at the time. So I had a small chat with her. I told her I was also a tarot reader, and I enjoyed the fact that her cards were very expressive. They did have some interesting concepts within them as well. She was a very nice person, very knowledgeable about the tarot, and very good with her reading. So that said, yeah, if you like her information, I'll include that in the description box for this reading. So now we're going to move into your reading for this month. Cancer, you're up. We have Raziel, who is the Angel of Mysteries. It's a very beautiful deck card here. I love this one. We see here, not only is he the bearer of all the mysteries in the universe, in all of time and existence, but he himself, his wings are the pages of those stories that we tell ourselves and things that are hidden from us at that point in time. So there's something to be said about that. When we have mysteries in our life, when we have mysteries in the universe, we dedicate oftentimes our life to try to explore and understand what those mysteries are. There are some things that we will know, and there are some things that we will never know. It's kind of like the episode of the Boondocks where, one of the characters is speaking to Riley and Huey and saying, there are known knowns and there are unknown unknowns and there are unknown knowns. So, like, Raziel's kind of that guy who has all of the unknown unknowns and maybe the unknown knowns. There we go. So, in doing so, we can actually explore the depth and the meaning of life in a way that communicates a sense of purpose in many ways, and additionally, with a sense of wonder. It's what keeps us childlike, to be able to continue to explore and understand our purpose in life, the meaning of life, and the meaning of our accomplishments and achievements in this life. So Raziel is the holder of those secrets, and I think it's a very, very nice card to have. Next, for the Moonology Oracle deck, we have communication is key, and this is the new moon in Gemini. So we are in Gemini season. We have pretty much gone past the new moon's phase of that. We're now entering into Gemini season. We're pretty much, what is it, the 9th of June already? Jesus, time flies. I remember celebrating New Year's Day with some mates of mine back in the States, and now it's already halfway over. The fucking year is halfway over already. I'm gonna blink and it's just gonna be like I'll be 50, and then I'll blink again and I'll just be sat reading a book or doing a crossword puzzle somewhere in a care home. It's mental how fast time is moving these days. And there's only, we just have to cherish every moment that we've got on this planet while we still can, because with all of the crazy stuff taking place, it's going to be really hard for us to cherish those moments as much as we can. Well, rant aside, with Raziel and communication is key. We have the Angel of Mysteries, which is essentially things that are unknowable, but communication is the key to understanding those things that are not known yet. So it's almost like an unveiling of those mysteries. We have here the new moon. And one of the things about Gemini is the thing that I've stressed in the past with Gemini's reading. Gemini represents Hermes. Hermes is one of the teachers. It's the core of, and the founding principle of learned thought. So, when you have mystics and occultists like Hermes Trismegistus, which I think is a lot of the he's kind of like the progenitor of a lot of the concepts behind Hermeticism. And then you have a lot of other occultists who have followed his path. And Hermes in itself tells us about the ability to know things by communicating these truths, these thoughts, being in touch, to be able to relay that information to and fro the destination between other people as well. But there's always a source, and there's always the destination. So it's really important that in order for us to understand the mysteries of our life, that we have to constantly communicate with people, with ourselves, with ideas, and with the universe itself. So that's the only way that that's going to work out. Now, when we have the first set of cards, we have the King of Swords in the reverse, and we have, clarifying that, the Eight of Wands. Now, with these two cards, what we see, if this is not a person, this talks about trying to get clear on a matter through swift and rapid communication, which the Eight of Wands always ensues. The Eight of Wands can be like a rapid message. It can talk about travel. It can also talk about taking swift action on something. But normally it's about communicating something or a message coming in quite quickly. It can often be an electronic message as well. King of Swords in the reverse, it talks about a time in which things are not quite clear enough for you to understand the best way forward. Sometimes it can be a person that deliberately refuses to communicate clearly. So this is where you get your narcissistic types and all that stuff, but I won't go into that. But the King of Swords is a master of communication, strategy, thinking, planning, and things of that nature. So with the King of Swords being in the reverse, but the Eight of Wands clarifying that, it's like things are not clear to you. You want a message to come in. Maybe somebody communicated something to you, which has kind of left you reeling as to what to do next. And in doing so, it's becoming, how can I say? You wanted to speak to them yesterday, but it's like it's taken ages for that to come in. And that can kind of knock us off of our our center, our groundedness when it comes to our ability to think clearly. So with the King of Swords in the reverse, of course, hopefully you did not get poor communication from someone who is a bit verbally abusive or emotionally abusive. Or in this case, it could also be that, you know, someone said something to you and now it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to feel about that? Well, then we go into the next phase. The current energy is the Strength card, and it is clarified by the Emperor card. So the Strength card can talk about being strong, of course, holding back from someone or from something, being able to persevere and endure because of something. So when you have these masculine cards here, like the King of Swords in the reverse and the Emperor upright, we're talking about a male energy that you're dealing with, which it could be a husband. It could be someone that's a male figure that you were close to. It could be a father figure as well. But whoever this masculine figure is, you feel almost like you've been kind of left in the lurch by the fact that this person is a very poor communicator and that you're now, instead of wanting this communication to come in, you're just kind of holding back and saying to yourself, I would just like to know the truth about what happened, what went on, and so I can bring this to closure. And say, for example, this person even, well, I don't want to say like person from the past is coming back. I think that's kind of a shitty reading for tarot, but sometimes they do come out. Say, for example, this person does come back to try to communicate to you. You just want to kind of hold back and hold your tongue. If maybe you have been thinking about the confusion that has taken place in the past with your communication and dealings with people, whether that's a job, relationship, or even yourself, it's time for you to now get clear on it. You could even say that the Strength card here is about illuminating things and getting clarity on things that you need because of that large sun in the background and the ability to kind of tame yourself as you receive the information that, from, messages that come in or new things that are revealed to you, as we do have Raziel being the angel of mysteries in this one. So it's almost like after someone disrupts your peace, you then try to go within and find that strength and courage and wisdom with that Emperor and Strength card, because these are two vastly powerful major arcana cards. And I think that's important for you to kind of channel that energy as you become strong in the face of adversity and people who become difficult in your life. So moving forward, we then have the Queen of Cups, which that tells us about being able to, it tells us about being able to be fully in tune with your emotions, and to be able to reflect on that and to be able to understand. Because normally in the Rider-Waite, the woman is holding a massively ornate chalice. In this one, she's holding a clam. Now, some could talk about it being an aphrodisiac or an allegory for something else. But in actuality, with this card, the clam has a pearl in the middle. The pearl is something of high value. But what people don't understand is that the pearl is actually created when the clam or the oyster receives a foreign object. And instead of using like an immune system or something, it secretes this thing, this resin, mucus even, that hardens over time around the object so that it can expel later on. And that's how you get pearl. So it's kind of a disgusting process. It's almost like, without sounding too crude, it's kind of like a bit of a shit marble that we now turn, thread, and then wear around our necks. So it's literally the expression, one man's trash is another man's treasure. But we could be processing things like that in our lives, things that were shit experiences, horrible experiences with people from the past. And then now getting the clarity and the insight to try to take control and understand how we can get past this and move past this to be able to better self-reflect on those encounters with people from the past who may have said the wrong things or may have done us wrong. And rather than holding on to that, it's important for us to now try to see it from a different point of view. We have here the reason why you're doing this reflection in this period of self-reflection is because of the Fool in the verse. You don't want to encounter these types of people anymore in the future. You don't want to take risks on people who are going to be a bit detrimental to your life or your lifestyle. It's almost like you feel like you've lost a lot of time. The Fool is timeless in itself, being the number 0. And also, it has gone through the journey infinite amount of times. The Fool's journey is a never-ending, ceaseless one. It is the card of reincarnation as well. Now, with this, not wanting to take that risk anymore and being kind of reticent to want to endure that kind of cycle with people in general, it's almost like you're saying to yourself, after receiving this understanding, this insight with the 8 of Wands in the first set of cards, it's almost like I can just sit back and I can just let that kind of sit with me a little bit. And after taking control of the situation, I then understand boundaries that I'm willing to have nowadays that will be instrumental in my personal happiness, my peace of mind, things that are going to allow me to continue and move forward rather than being stuck on painful situations from the past or being unclear, or having this difficulty trying to understand what people are, doing that affects my life. So for the outcome of all of this, I have the Magician, which is great. But however, I got some really weird cards that clarify this. You're in the Magician phase because of Justice in the reverse. And then additionally, the Four of Pentacles. So when we have these two cards, I get the impression, or I get the intuition, that the things that you're manifesting in the near future, the life that you're trying to control and gain in this life after this situation that you've encountered or endured, is now taking place because you do not want to be stuck ever again in an unjust or an unfair situation where you have to constantly hold back from it. And you don't want to give or spend your precious resources on circumstances that are very unfair and very unbalanced. And so as the Magician, it's like you're taking control of that situation and you're manifesting and materializing things in your life that would give you more to offer rather than simply just taking things as they are. So you have the Fool in the reverse, then you have the Magician in the upright. So it's almost like you know precisely what you want out of life now. And I think that's a very empowering place to be. Once you do take control, you have a clear set of vision. So in the recent past, you didn't have that vision. You had the King of Swords in the reverse. And then you take control, which is the Emperor, all four kings together. And then you have the Queen of Cups, which is the period of reflection. And then after that, you finally get into the Magician age, the Magician era. You're finally using all of the knowledge you've learned, all of the experiences that you've endured or undertaken, and then you're finally materializing a life that doesn't have all of the same pitfalls of the previous one that you lived or that you've walked away from. And I think that's a very empowering place for you to be. That's going to give you a lot more energy that you can conserve towards the things that are more conducive for you. Four of Pentacles is about conservation. And so if something is unjust, you'd rather use that energy to go towards things that are better for you, that are more conducive, and that are more reciprocal. So in that, you're actually learning the mysteries about yourself by communicating with yourself what is important to you. Communicating between the head and the heart, mind, body, and spirit. With all of those aligned, it's going to allow you to be more reserved and more careful and prudent about your interactions with people so that you don't encounter these situations in the future. So that is the message for today. This has been the Crucible Tarot. If you like what you see here, again, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell, and support the channel in the best way you can. I'm going to leave it here. Instead of saying love and light, pixie dust, I'm going to instead say my phrase that I will conclude each of my readings with: Viam gevura ambula, Latin for I walk the path of severity, courage, bravery. Thanks again. Until next time. Speak soon.